homecoming in Huntington. And if you can, run to the big dog, stay on the sideline. We've got the Citadel versus Marshall coming up next. Welcome to Huntington, West Virginia, where an outstanding military tradition, the Citadel Bulldogs, meets Division I AA's modern power, the Thundering Herd. Hello again, everybody. I'm Keith Morehouse alongside Sonny Randall. And, Coach, this series started back in 1978. The Citadel won 41-0. Things have changed over the years.
Well, I tell you what, Keith, forget about the series. Just remember last year down in Charleston, a 2-point game. I'm telling you, it was life and death. Marshall knows they have to have their A game against the Citadel this afternoon.
The Citadel known for that wishbone offense. Sonny, what are your keys to the game?
Well, keys for the Citadel. They don't want any 3 and out, that's for sure. They want to hold on to the football, and they'd like to keep that high-powered Marshall offense off the field. They'd like to keep the game close. If they hang around, they know in the end they've got a chance. For Marshall, answers for the wishbone and the multi-sets that they're going to see offensively. They'll see everything known to man on offense from the Citadel this afternoon. They know they have to have the answers. For Marshall, they want points early. They want a bunch of them. They would like to put the Bulldogs away and put them away as quickly as possible.
It all starts on the offensive line. Sonny, your players to watch.
Well, I tell you what, the Citadel has one of the best in the business. Sean Lyons, boy, 6'5", about 278, and he's a dandy. As I say, it starts with the center. A youngster like this, believe me, a lot of things are possible offensively.
And for Marshall, an unsung hero of sorts.
Well, I guess you might say that. Their field goal kicker, Tim Openlander, he should be featured. His longest, 52 yards. Longest, I say longest, he's a big bomber from outside. Perfect in the extra points, 40 for 40. The guy's a weapon in himself.
All right, the Thundering Herd has won the last 5 of these meetings, but as we alluded to, the Dogs always like to keep it close. We've got the top-ranked Thundering Herd of Marshall versus the Citadel Bulldogs. It's coming up next.
An hour. It's mostly sunny right now, but they expect some snow flurries later on this afternoon. Sonny, what do you think about that? A little snow, huh? Let's check downfield now with Mark Martin, who's on the sidelines. Mark?
All right, guys, great to be with you here today. There is only one first-year head football coach left in the country with a perfect record. His name is Bob Pruitt. And today, his Thundering Herd tries to move to 9-0 and become the first team in school history to do that. The last time Marshall was 8-0, ironically, they played the Citadel. That was in 1988, and the Dogs came away down in Charleston, South Carolina with a 20-3 victory. They'll try to be the spoiler again here this afternoon, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mark. And don't you think head coach Don Powers talked to his military cadets about that one, Sonny?
I imagine he might have mentioned it to him a time or two.
We're set for kickoff in Huntington. Tim Openlander will kick deep. Back to receive for the Citadel, Carlos Frank and Kevin Smith. And it's a long kick. Frank's got it in the middle of the end zone, and he'll set it down, and the Bulldogs will take over at their own 20-yard line. Sonny, this rivalry has been a good one over the years. The Citadel has kept things close and almost had the big upset last year as you look at Coach Powers.
Don Powers, what a heck of a job he's done. First season at the Citadel. The 3-4 is a little bit deceiving.
Done a good job, and the Bulldogs will operate out of a multiple option formation. Give the ball to the fullback a lot. Kenyatta Sproul, who's number 42, will call his name. And Deion Jackson, the hot tailback right now for Citadel. This is Myers, the quarterback, keeps it himself and gets a couple of yards before B.J. Cohen drags him down.
When you fake it to the fullback, keeps a lot of folks at home, especially those linebackers, and that's what you're trying to get accomplished.
Look at the offensive line for the Citadel. Lyons, the big guy in the middle, as we alluded to. Bear is also tough at the left tackle position. The backs and receivers, Myers, the sophomore quarterback, also big game last week for Jackson, 146 yards against Georgia Southern. The split end is Green. He'll get the bulk of the receiving work. 2nd and 8 for the Citadel now at the 22-yard line. And this time the give is to Sproul, the fullback, who gets about 2 yards up to the 24-yard line where Marshall's defense swarms. A lot of deception and misdirection in this offense from the Citadel.
Well, you know that the academies, here they are defensively up front for Marshall.
And what a crew that is. Totten, Lyon Hall. Swafford, you want to know that Andre O'Neill is in for Larry McLeod, who's resting that back injury he's got. And in the secondary, Larry Moore will go in for Melvin Cunningham. Cunningham with a slight hamstring problem. Smythe, Maxwell, and Goins round out the defensive secondary. Third down now for the Bulldogs. Myers is not afraid to throw, and this is what he'll do. Rolling to his left across the middle. He's got his man wide open out there. It is caught for first down yardage, and the Citadel with a big first down. George Hampton on the reception.
Tell you what, big crossing route. Derek Green, that misdirection, little boot. Stanley Myers on the money. You can see he throws the ball extremely well, but I think can run with it just as well.
The Bulldogs throw the ball much more than they're used to. They didn't have one touchdown pass last year. Myers has 4 this year for the Bulldogs. First and 10 now for the Citadel. Frank in motion. Myers going to give it to the big man. That's Jackson. Takes it out for a couple of yards to the 43-yard line before he's brought down by Andre O'Neill and company.
The Citadel Bulldogs have one thing in mind: keeping the Marshall offense off the field. We talked about that at the opening. Another look here. Just a draw. The big man, Deion Jackson, hammers it up in there, but not a whole lot of room. Plenty of green jerseys.
Jackson with a big day, as we mentioned last week against Georgia Southern, 146 yards.
From the gun.
Stanley Myers, the sophomore. This time he's going to throw it. Looks out to his right. He's got a man out there on the sidelines, and it is just out of reach. Carlos Frank can't pull it down. It will be third now and 9 for the Citadel.
Myers had a man open, just a little bit too tall, but I tell you, he had a blocker out in front of him. If he had pulled it down and run with the ball, he might have gone a ways. And man down.
Marshall fans remember the job that, as we look at Don Powers, the job that Stanley Myers did last year, and they almost pulled the upset in Charleston.
Injured player.
Try to get a look at who that is. That looks like number 58, Paul Totten, is on the field. And Totten has played well this season in place of John Duncan.
Tell you, 2 defensive starters missing from the defensive unit for Marshall. So they're hurting coming into this ball game, and I mean 2 of their very best. McLeod, there's not a better one in the country at the linebacker position, and then on the corner, Melvin Cunningham.
Crowd, kind of a late arriving crowd at Marshall Stadium. It's Marshall's first afternoon home game of the season.
Most of them probably thinking it started at 7 o'clock.
It'll be really cold about that time.
My, the frost will be in the pumpkin this evening.
Paul Totten, 6 foot, 237-pound sophomore from Danville, Virginia. 4 quarterback sacks this season. We mentioned he came on in place of John Duncan, who was hurt in the first game of the year. Duncan, however, is healthy and back, and that's good. And it's nice to see Totten getting to his feet here in Huntington.
He has really come in and done a heck of a job replacing John Duncan. This doesn't look too good.
Walking a bit gingerly off the field, but with a little assistance. So Paul Totten will leave now. Sets up third down and 9, and indeed John Duncan has checked into the game.
John Duncan back in the lineup last week against Appalachian. Did not play a whole lot, but got his feet wet and very, very comfortable being back here on the field. You talking about a miraculous recovery. That guy breaks his ankle, and he's healed in maybe 5-6 weeks time.
His goal, Sonny, was to be ready for that Appalachian State game last week, and he was there and actually played a few downs. So we've got third and 9 now from the 42-yard line. The Citadel with Stanley Myers at quarterback. Deion Jackson, the lone setback. And when's the last time you saw 3 receivers out wide for the Citadel? But the Bulldogs are throwing the ball with much more regularity. This is Myers. He's going to
be flushed. Got some room.
Swafford
got the first down and then some. Still on his feet.
Look at Jerome Embry making the tackle, but way downfield as Stanley Myers takes it down to the 33-yard line of Marshall. That is what Stanley Myers does best.
Does it extremely well. We mentioned he has outstanding ability running the football. Great speed and quickness. Another look right here. Stanley Myers, pretty good coverage. Marshall in a 2-deep zone. Here you see he's flushed. When you're flushing from the pocket, he can hurt you. Right here, look how quickly he's in the secondary. He goes a long, long ways with the football. Jerome Embry finally knocks him out of bounds, but boy, the Bulldogs knocking at the door early here.
Myers at quarterback, the leading rusher on this team this season. They're in the I formation now with the Ranger back in motion. This time Myers is going to pitch it to Jackson on the outside. He's got some room and some company. Thomas Maxwell up to make the tackle, but he breaks it down to the 27-yard line of Marshall.
Larry Moore in on the
DJ Cohen
for the herd.
Larry Moore
Thomas
in on the stop for the herd. Here you see the option. Dive option. Slides a fake to the fullback. Pitches back to the tailback.
And Jackson, just a freshman from St. Petersburg, Florida. We'll see and hear a lot of him in the coming years in Charleston.
Deion Jackson's going to be a good one.
Got a good name to start with. Stanley Myers now. 2nd and 5 for the Bulldogs at the 28-yard line. This time it's a little misdirection play, and there's first down yardage over the left side. Nice run out there by Antonio Smith, the Ranger back.
The Bulldogs mix in their offense very, very nicely right now. I got the herd a little bit on their heels. Boy, that misdirection, that's what drives linebackers absolutely crazy. You're looking at the backfield. Boy, look at the flow here. The hand back. Boy, look at the room. Pounds it back up inside. Antonio Smith.
He's the Ranger. He won't get the ball as much as Sproul and Jackson, but very effective when he does carry it.
Keeps you honest.
1st and 10 now from the 19-yard line. Green goes in motion. Myers wants to throw. Across the middle, he's got a receiver out there down to the 12-yard line. And good yardage again. Derek Green on the reception for the Bulldogs, where he's brought down by Jerome Embry.
Green runs that little underneath route. That's his 2nd catch here this afternoon. Here's a look. Myers, deep drop, 7-step drop. Little delay over the middle. Green, excellent reception. And the chains move once again. Actually, don't move, but pick up 8.
2nd down now for the Bulldogs. An impressive drive here to start things off. It's Myers taking it out on the option. That's Jackson on the outside corner. He's got first down yardage. Duncan with the tackle, but inside the 5-yard line. Deion Jackson.
Boy, you can see they got a lot of speed and quickness. The thing that you want to do, and you see so many formations. Here's a look. The dive to the fullback. Myers on the option. Pitches back. Got some room. Finally knocked out of bounds. John Duncan makes a stop, but boy, the Bulldogs down here knocking at the door.
1st and goal from the 4-yard line now for Citadel. Myers sets him down. The back's in the I formation.
Checking.
And we've got movement, it appears, on the front line.
Had to be movement because there was still 8 seconds left on the clock. Let's see if Marshall jumped. Oh, there was movement. No, that's going against Marshall. That must have been offsides. Must have lined up offsides. It'll be halfway to the goal line, if that's the call.
Illegal substitution. Green team,
substitution.
12 men on the field. Half the distance. Field first.
Well, you can play with 12. You get by with it.
The way the Bulldogs are moving the ball, I'm sure that the herd would like 12
out there. Half the distance to the goal line.
Sets up 1st and goal now for the Bulldogs. As we mentioned, moving the ball very well early in this one. 10-12 to go. Here's Jackson on the carry across. Can't get inside to the 1-yard line.
They run that power play down there on the goal line. 2 tights. Full set backfield. Jackson maybe picked up 1. Jerome Embry, the last one to get off the stack. Here it is, hand back. Nothing but power. You got it at the 1 though, and you got 2nd. You got 3 downs to get it in there. Another look right there.
Full backfield now for the Bulldogs. 2nd and goal. This is to give the 2nd man through. That's Smith, the Ranger. Touchdown. The Bulldogs score first in Huntington.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Now that was a heck of a drive right there. Antonio Smith, he takes it in. Here's your look, full backfield. Just a hand back, 2 backs in front. Antonio Smith does a heck of a job of getting the Bulldogs in the end zone.
That's Smith's first touchdown of the season as the Bulldogs take the early 6-0 lead. On now for the point after, the Citadel. Justin Skinner will try to make it 7-zip, and he does.
Good.
Make it good. 7-0 in Huntington, where the Bulldogs have taken an early lead over the Marshall Thundering Herd. Impressive drive from the Citadel. We're back with the Bulldogs and the Herd in just a minute. For only the 3rd time this year, and it was a touchdown by the Ranger back Antonio Smith. Sonny.
Here's another look. Full backfield, power set, 2 lead blockers. Antonio Smith does the rest. He bounces in there, and the Bulldogs, they're not only in front. Look at the scoring drive here.
And that's exactly what they want to do. 12 plays, 80 yards. It took 5.5 minutes off the clock, and the Bulldogs out in front early.
That was the key right there behind 7 points, but you take almost 5.5 minutes off the clock. Hold on to the football and keep Marshall's high-powered offense on the sideline. That's the Bulldogs have done just that here to open the ball game.
Skinner with a high kick, where Tim Martin will take it at his 13-yard line. Over the left side, Martin with a little bit of room and takes it out over the 30-yard line to about the 33, where Marshall takes over for the first time this afternoon. And the Thundering Herd faced with a deficit early in the first quarter. And again, we mentioned it's only happened 3 times this year, Sonny, when they haven't been in the lead. Eric Kresser, outstanding quarterback from Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, will lead this Marshall offense.
And check this formation out here. Look how many jumbos you got over here. Check it into the boundary. How big they are with one lone receiver out here. He's going to look and see, count him in the box. See if they get man-to-man with Randy Moss.
Kresser going to throw on first down. He's got Moss, and Moss has got the ball. A nice fingertip grab to the 47-yard line of the Citadel.
Marshall just wanted to see if they got man-to-man. You saw the jumbo set into the boundary. They got the man-to-man, ran the slant to Randy Moss. Here it is. There's the man-to-man. Fakes a little bit outside, runs the slant, juggles the ball. Nice job to hold on.
21-yard reception. Moss's 37th catch of the year for the outstanding freshman from Bell, West Virginia. Rand, actually, product of DuPont High School. 1st and 10 now from the 42. This is Eric Thomas. Takes it down to the 44-yard line, where he's brought down there by the Bulldog defense. Here's the offensive line. We've mentioned it's a good one. Wilson, Reed, Wade, Ferguson, and Webb. In the backfield, we've got mentioned Kresser, Eric Thomas, the outstanding tailback. You just saw Moss alongside receivers Martin and Gerald Long.
Awfully impressive up front. Good look at Eric Kresser, youngster that came in here from the University of Florida. What a year he's had for the Marshall Thundering Herd.
2nd and 7 now for the Herd at the Citadel 44-yard line. Thomas, the lone setback, he'll get the carry, and he's got a hole.
Room.
Outside, he takes it down deep into Citadel territory at about the 33-yard line before he's run out of bounds there. First down yardage for Marshall. Sunny day in Huntington, West Virginia.
But a perfect day to play. Boy, I tell you what, you don't get tired out here today.
Defensive front there, Sonny. Luster bench presses 610 pounds.
Oh, my.
The linebacker Belcher, the man to watch for the Citadel defense. In the secondary, Reese, Smith, Harris, and Moore.
That's a scrappy bunch. And they'll have to swarm the ball here this afternoon against Marshall.
1st and 10. With that 2 tight end set that Sonny alluded to, the give is to Eric Thomas, who bounces it outside.
Look out.
Taking it inside the 30. Finally, he's wrapped up there by Anquan Gist. But big yardage for Eric Thomas.
Anquan Gist making the stop from his strong safety position. Boy, you don't want that too often. Here's that pick. You pick it, depending on the look defensively, bounces it outside. Eric Thomas, great speed and quickness. Gist from the strong safety position makes the stop.
And Marshall doesn't ordinarily run a 2 tight set on first down, Sonny.
2 tights. When they run the pick, you just want to power it.
Gain of 9 yards on the play. 2nd and 1 for the Herd at the 24-yard line.
2 deep zone.
Thomas, the lone setback. He'll get first down yardage over the left side and pound it outside to the 20-yard line, where he's brought down there by Gist and Scott Belcher.
Certainly plenty enough for a first down. Only needed about 2 inches. Got about 3 yards. So it'll be first.
Incredible average per carry for Eric Thomas. 8 yards a carry for this young man, the senior from Largo, Maryland.
First from the 20. Marshall now trying to answer. The Bulldogs 7 points.
First and 10 now for the Herd. The Bulldogs lead it by a touchdown. Javon Jenkins goes in motion. Pick Thomas again. He had a little bit of room, and then he tripped over his own man. Gets down to about the 17-yard line.
He doesn't trip. He's going to go a long, long ways. That time the stop made by Andre Luster.
Along with Luster, a gain of 3.
Tell you what, as I say, if he's not tripped up, he's going to go a ways because there was a big hole.
Let's check in quickly with Mark Martin on the sidelines. Mark?
Homecoming 96, Keith and Sonny, and of course new inductees into the Marshall University Athletic Hall of Fame. With me now is Sonny Allen. He played basketball for the Herd in the 50s. The 57-58 team, Sonny, I understand, led the nation in scoring.
88 points per game. We had 2 great scorers, Leo Bird and Hal Greer. They knew what to do with the basketball.
It's always nice when you can come back to your alma mater, especially in a setting like this.
It is, great, because I saw a lot of people I hadn't seen for a while, and to be inducted in the Hall of Fame is, always a lifetime dream of any athlete, and the setting here today, so it's been a great weekend.
You had a great coaching career with several universities, Old Dominion, SMU, Reno, Nevada, and now you're a scout with the Golden State Warriors.
Right. I coached for 31 years and enjoyed it, but I enjoy now scouting because you don't have to put up with all the headaches. So this is a good way to end a coaching career.
All right, Sonny, congratulations.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right, let's go back up to Keith and Sonny.
How about a touchdown, Mark? Randy Moss from Eric Kresser. The Herd answers the Bulldogs.
Randy Moss for the Thundering Herd touchdown.
Lorenzo Jackson, linebacker for the Bulldogs, got there a little bit late. Randy Moss just ran a fade in the end zone. He's wide open. Eric Kresser puts it on the money.
9 straight games now, Sonny, where the freshman has caught a touchdown pass, a Marshall record. His 14th touchdown catch of the year.
Nothing fancy about that one. Just a fade in the end zone.
Tim Openlander on to add the extra point to tie it up with the Bulldogs, and he pulls it just a bit, but it's up and good. And in Huntington, West Virginia, with 5:55 left in the first quarter, an Eric Kresser to Randy Moss touchdown ties it up. The Herd and the Bulldogs at 7. Marshall Stadium, where the Herd has tied up the Bulldogs with an Eric Kresser to Randy Moss touchdown. Here's a look, Sonny.
Another look, just a fade in the end zone. Randy Moss, you can see how open he is. Made it look easy. Another look. He goes down inside, bounces back outside, beats Derek Reese. You can see Reese is not even close to Randy Moss. Of course, it's tough to stay close to that young man.
And at 6'5", it's hard to touch it when it's that high. 8 plays, 67 yards, capped off by the 13-yard touchdown reception. So it's all tied up in Huntington. Tim Openlander now to kick. He will kick deep. Back to receive for the Bulldogs are Kevin Smith and Carlos Frank.
Sure, Dietrich Reese will see Randy Moss some more before the afternoon is over.
The kick will go deep. And Openlander has done that all year long. Then Frank wisely downs it where the Bulldogs will take over again at the 20-yard line.
Anytime the ball is in there 3 or 4 yards in the end zone, the other back there, the one that's not catching the ball, you communicate and tell the other receiver to stay in the end zone.
Fans all bundled up in Huntington.
Yes, sir.
And Stanley Myers leads them out again. And boy, oh boy, if the first drive is any indication, the Bulldogs have come to play this afternoon.
They've come to play, and boy, they got an offense that's absolutely dynamite. They'll keep you off balance. They can move it in a hurry.
2-back set for the Bulldogs. 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. The give is to the fullback. That's Kenyatta Spruill, who picks up good yardage out to the 25-yard line, where Scott Smythe brings him down.
Any kind of an option team, fullback is key. You have to stop the fullback. Kenyatta Spruill, there you can see the fullback bounces up in there. Jermaine Swafford makes a stop, gets some help. But boy, when you pick up 5 and you look at a 2nd and 5, you'll take it every time the ball's snapped.
Spruill averages 5 yards a carry. There's a look at the big fullback. 2nd and 5 now.
2 deep zone.
Myers will keep it himself this time on the option out to Deion Jackson, and Jackson takes it out to about the 29-yard line, where, well, almost a first down.
It's going to be close depending on the spot. Stanley Myers running the option extremely well.
Sonny Marshall has played the run well all year. Do you think this new little twist that the Bulldogs have brought in is a little bit confusing to the herd?
Well, I'm not sure if it's confusing or not, but you better have folks, you know, flowing to the ball and reading keys, because it's assignment football against an option team. And that's what they're going to look at here this afternoon. Third and just inches.
Third and very short. Full backfield for the Bulldogs. Myers sets him down. The give is to Jackson. The last got through, and he just gets over the 30-yard line. It looks like he'll have a first down.
We'll see where the spot. And it depends on the spot.
Good tackle in there made by John Grace and Billy Lyon.
But the chains will move. That's enough for the first. Another look here for the Bulldogs. Deion Jackson just does pick it up.
But the Bulldogs with another first down. 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. All tied up with a herd. First and 10 from the 30 now. Full backfield for Myers. The give is to the fullback. Actually, Myers still has it, and then he pitches to Jackson on the outside. Shows his speed out there.
Deion Jackson, the tailback. Great speed and quickness. Awfully tough to read it, I tell you what. Keith, you've got to be almost right down there on the field to pick it up. Looks like that fullback has the football. Look at it, right there. Fake to the fullback. Myers has it. Here's the pitch. Lead blocker out front. Deion Jackson. Watch him scoot up the sidelines. Finally knocked out of bounds by Thomas Maxwell.
First down yardage for Jackson, who shows his speed to the outside. At the 42-yard line, the Bulldogs continuing to click offensively. Smith, the Ranger, in motion.
Dive.
This time the give is to Sproul. Big yardage up the middle before he's brought down out there by number 21, Scott Smythe and John Grace. But it looks like first down yardage again for the Bulldogs.
Again, fullback is key. You have got to stop the fullback against the opposite attack. The way these folks do, most of the time they're outmanned, so what they do is they make you wrong defensively. The Bulldogs executing mighty well here early offensively.
And Marshall understands the dilemma because Larry McLeod, the outstanding middle linebacker, back in the game. He was not supposed to play because of some back problems, but they need him in there right now, no question. First and 10 from the 47. This time Myers going to go left option. Could be a face mask, it looked like.
Yes, sir, that was a face mask.
Billy Lyons.
They come from everywhere.
On the carry.
We'll see if it's 5 or the big one.
Billy Lyon.
Billy Lyons got some penetration. Here it is. Fake to the fullback. Myers. Oh, the other face mask. Yes, sir. No question about that. They'll take the penalty. We'll just see how much it is. It's the big one. Another conference.
We'll listen to Ron Buckner tell us whether it was intentional.
Mr. Buckner will straighten it out.
5 yard face mask. Defense. 5 yards to the end of the run. Repeat first down.
That means he didn't mean it.
Incidental.
Incidental. I think it's better saying didn't mean it. I don't know. It looked like he grabbed pretty good and brought him down.
Well, what they want you to do is,
the big one.
once you grab it, to let go of it.
Yes, sir.
That's what the officials look for. First and 3 now from the 40-yard line for the Bulldogs with the full backfield. This time, the give is to the fullback, Sproul.
And the chains are going to move once again.
Marshall having some difficulty against the Bulldog offensive line.
What did we say at the opening? You got to have answers for all these multiple sets that you're looking at offensively. Boy, they give you fits because reading keys are extremely important here defensively this afternoon.
Typically what you'll see, Sonny, in a defense like Marshall's is it takes them a while to adapt to this offense, but in the meantime, you're piling up yards and
points. Exactly right. But the thing about it, Keith, you only got 1 week to get ready for it. Tough to get ready for an offense like this in 1 week's time.
First and 10 from the 35 for the Bulldogs. This time Myers has it out on the left side. Pitches to Jackson, and Jackson takes it out for 7 yards, down to the 27-yard line.
And I'm going to tell you something. He got a great block from Antonio Smith. Smith out in front. Darren Jackson gets the ball. I want you to watch a block by Smith. Watch out here, out in front. Great block out here. That's the kind of block you'll get to spring the back. Deion Jackson. Boy, you pick up 8. Another look here. Jackson down the sidelines. Larry McLeod gets there.
And it's 2nd and 2 from the 27. as the Dogs barking loudly early in Huntington. Smith goes in motion this time. Myers is going to take it, but he's got some pressure out there. McLeod giving chase. Passes almost intercepted by Jermaine Swafford. But some heat there caused Myers to hurry his throw.
Myers flushed just a bit. Myers would kind of like to have this one back. Another look. Jermaine Swafford misdirects it here on the boot. Has a man open. Trying to throw on the run. There's the dump. But the nearest to it was a green jersey.
And I believe B.J. Summers was saying, let that come through. I would have had it. Good coverage out there from Marshall secondary. 3rd and 2. Big play for the Bulldogs from the 27-yard line. Backs in the eye. The give is to Sproul. Plenty of room over the middle.
Yes, sir. First down.
Down to the 22-yard line.
Very, very simple, you think, maybe, running that dive. But, boy, when you've got to have the answers for everything else. Now, all of a sudden, here's the look. Straight dive. Great blocking up front. The Bulldogs pound it, and they pick up another first down.
And the dangerous thing you get with Sproul at 5'10", 207 pounds, he's a fullback, Sonny, but he runs a 4.6 40. So if he springs it.
And that big offensive line of the Citadels, maybe not huge, but boy, awfully quick. They're doing a job.
1st and 10 now from the 22 of Marshall.
Diving.
Myers can't hang on, and he's got swarmed under there by number 5, B.J. Cohen. The ball popped up, as you saw.
Lucky to come back down. Lucky to come back down. Not sure what happened here. Stanley Myers very, very happy to get this one back. Here it is. The fullback, he put it in there and actually didn't get it out of there. Sproul, not sure whether he was supposed to get the football, but it hit it on his hip, bounced in the air. Myers awful lucky to get that one back.
That's interesting in that wishbone, Sonny. They actually put it into his gut and pull it back out. A loss of 4 on the play for Don Powers, Citadel Bulldogs. 2nd and 14 now from the 26-yard line. Green goes in motion. Myers going to drop and throw. He's got a little bit of heat, and he is swarmed there. 3 people got him.
Billy Lyons and a late flag.
Joe Zeglowitz alongside helping out.
Could get a holding call here. Flag came in late. Not sure what the call is, but we'll find out here pretty quick.
He's talking to the offensive line, Derek Barrows.
It almost has to be a hole. That's what it is. That's a hole.
Holding on the offense. Face mask. Defense.
Oh, offsetting.
Replay the down.
Replay the down. Boy, that could be huge.
I'd like to see that one again. That was an interesting call. It was Billy Lyons.
Right along here.
Billy Lyon and Joe Zeglowitz on the tackle. Sonny didn't see which one of them may have grabbed the face mask.
Oh, they had 2 people holding that tag. Right guard and tackle held him.
He's telling the coach just
yes,
for
sir. We heard that from down there on the sideline.
For future reference.
That should be 30 yards instead of 15 or 20 for 10.
The Bulldogs now. Jackson the lone setback. Green goes in motion. Myers to throw. He's got more heat. This time he's taken down immediately by John Duncan. His first sack of 1996.
Big John Duncan. Back after that, you might think, season-ending injury early in the year. Back again and happy to be back on the field. Another look from ground level. Myers back to throw. You can see those feet get happy in a hurry. John Duncan throws him for a big loss. The Bulldogs looking at 3rd and about 18.
Talked to him the other day, Sonny, and he was so glad about being back on the football field his senior year. 3rd and 18 now from the 30-yard line.
Timeout. Bulldogs don't like this one. They calling time.
Wants to talk about it.
They didn't have the right folks on the field. A late substitution. They were forced to call timeout.
The Bulldogs threatening again in Huntington. 3rd down from the 30-yard line. We'll come back to Huntington, West Virginia, where it's all tied up. Just 27 seconds left in the first quarter, where the Bulldogs and the Herd all tied up at 7. And the Citadel Bulldogs face a 3rd and 18 now from the Marshall 30-yard line. They have been impressive thus far, Sonny.
They've been impressive. They've been able to hold on to the football. They've gotten points. And with just 27 ticks left here in the first quarter, the Bulldogs have gotten accomplished exactly what they wanted to. Time of possession. Ooh, huge in the Citadel's favor.
Just exactly what Don Powers wants coming into this one. So the Bulldogs want to keep it going here from the 30. Sproul and Jackson behind. Myers going to give it to the first man through. That's Sproul, and he's got plenty of room. Finally dragged down by John Gray, short of the first down, but certainly puts the Bulldogs within field goal range now.
Boy, you hope you can pop it. You spread the field and pop it with the fullback, Sproul. Look at the rushing numbers put up by the Bulldogs here this afternoon.
Nearly 100 yards difference in that one.
Field goal unit would come on for the Bulldogs. Another look here. I think they trapped it that time. That was a trap. Sproul hit it clean. That's going to be the end of the first quarter.
And Don Powers doing just what he wanted to do in Huntington, West Virginia, where he leads the Thundering Herd, rather tied, but looking for the lead. We'll be back to Marshall Stadium in a minute. Will try to take the lead. Justin Skinner will come on to attempt a 33-yard field goal. Look at Skinner. He's 0 for 3 from that distance. On the season, he's 5 for 9 from field goal attempts.
And a pretty good breeze from right to left. You're going to have to use some of that Kentucky windage to get this one to stay in there.
Mike Selman, the holder. 33 yards. Skinner, the kick is up. It is good. And the Bulldogs take a 3-point lead over Marshall on the Skinner field goal. That is his 100th career point of his career in Charleston. Justin Skinner gives the Bulldogs the lead. So they continue to slug about here in Huntington as the Bulldogs lead it by 3. And Marshall has trailed twice in a ball game as the Bulldogs take a 10-7 lead over the Thundering Herd here in Huntington. And Ernie Pernsley with his defensive backs trying to get this thing going. Sonny, you talked about the wind.
Yes, sir. Look at the right. You got to bring it right to left. He got it up in that right brain, right dead through the uprights. But if you kicked it straight, it would have gone left and outside the goalpost.
In golf terminology, that's a draw that he put on that ball.
A little bit of draw, right to left. I refer to it as the Kentucky windage. You know, when you shoot that rifle.
14-play drive. Again, that was the plan coming in for the Bulldogs. 64 yards, and Skinner gives the Dogs the lead. Marshall's Randy Moss back deep to receive the kick at his 3-yard line. And he can fly. There's no doubt about it. He's got some room. Cuts it back to the right side. Now can he outrun the Dogs? That's the question.
He's going to take it.
Randy Moss.
He's going to go the distance.
Knocked out of bounds at the 9-yard line. An 83-yard return. 88-yard return, rather, matching Randy Moss's number.
Looked like he was going to go the distance. 4.34 speed. When you get him in the open field, he can be awfully dangerous.
Just thought to myself before that Marshall hasn't broken a kickoff all year, Sonny.
There's a missed tackle. There's one miss. There's 2 misses. Now when he cuts it back across the grain, boy, it's just sheer speed. Can he outrun him? Looked like he was going to go the distance. Knocked out of bounds late. And the Herd knocking at the door.
First and goal from the 9-yard line after the long Moss return. White goes in motion. The give is to Eric Thomas, left side. Touchdown, Eric Thomas. And just that quickly, the Herd has taken the lead. That was lightning and thunder, Sonny.
Yes, sir. I mean, on a clear day, it was some lightning and thunder. Marshall is such an explosive football team. Another look here, just to pick a hole. Eric Thomas, when the back comes up inside, you can see him bounce outside. You knew he was going in the end zone.
Openlander for the extra point. It is up. It is good. And with just 24 seconds gone in the second quarter, the Herd takes the lead back from the Citadel. Marshall 14-10. We're back in just a minute. Eric Thomas, senior from Largo, Maryland, with his 5th touchdown of the year, gives the Herd the 14-10 lead. Of course, the Randy Moss 88-yard kickoff return
right
helped.
Here, but look up front what you get offensively. Huge hole. Eric Thomas takes it in the end zone. The closest, Scott Belcher.
And this is the way this game has gone. The Bulldogs with the long drives, Marshall with the quick strike offense. One play, 9 yards after the 88-yard kickoff return.
Good look at Eric Thomas wearing the do-rag. I think that's what they call them, do-rags. That's what Deion Sanders calls them, do-rag.
So Tim Oberlander will kick it back to the Citadel, where the Bulldogs have maintained the time of possession, rushing yardage, just like Don Powers' game plan coming in. Powers' first year at the Citadel. Remember, Charlie Taff has been taking the year off because of an off-the-field incident, and Powers has been named to replace him. No word yet on the full-time situation, whether Taff will come back or Powers will remain. Regardless, Powers has done a good job. Squib kick from Openlander, and number 93 out there. Mark Parson can't hang on, but he's got it and looks good with it. John Grace takes him down out there at the 48-yard line, where the Bulldogs will have good field position.
You know, when it was first kicked as one of those squibbers, he didn't look like he knew what to do with the ball. But then all of a sudden he found out what to do with it. A real good look right there. I'll tell you what, Mark Parson, tight end, you're supposed to know what to do with the ball. And after he picked it up, he did. Got a penalty on the play. We're on the kickoff return.
See what this one's about.
I think it's going to go against the Bulldogs.
Blocking the back on the return to the white team. 10-yard spot of the end of the run.
And that will nullify some good field position for the Bulldogs. Take them back to the 33-yard line now.
Boy, you don't want those penalties anytime. But in a situation like this, they become very, very critical.
The last time the Citadel won in Huntington was 1979. They won it 17-16 over the Herd. They would love to do it again here. 14-10 now, the Herd leads it. The give is to Sproul, who takes it up the middle, gets a couple of yards before Larry McLeod wrestles him down.
Bulldogs, don't look for him to go Las Vegas with it. He'll stick to the game plan. Feel like they're in real good shape here. 1 minute into the second quarter. Another look here. Ground level. There's Sproul. They trap it. Larry McLeod makes the stop. A couple of yards for the Dogs.
2nd and 7 now from the 36-yard line. Sproul again gets it out for about 3 more yards, out close to the 40-yard line.
Bulldogs will be looking at 3rd and 5.
Sonny, this kind of an offense certainly takes its toll on your defense.
It does after a while. It wears them down. Assignment football against option teams, just so critical. You got to have somebody on dive, quarterback, pitch. If you blow an assignment, and boy, they go a long ways with it on offense.
It is the equivalent of man-to-man defense in basketball. 3rd and 4 for the Bulldogs. Sproul and Jackson behind Myers.
Marshall got 8 in the box.
Myers is checking, and this time he'll take it out, string it on the option. He's got his second back through. That's Green.
That's going to be a first down. Late pitch.
Aaron Green.
Green gets the toss from Myers. They execute the option extremely well. That time Myers had a chance to keep the football, but instead he pitches it to Aaron Green at the last split second. Green picks up a big first down for the Dogs. Here it is. Down the line. They slight the fake to the fullback. Double option. Last second pitch. Aaron Green picks up a first.
Improvisation, so important in that wishbone offense. 1st and 10 now from the 44-yard line. Myers will string it the other way this time, and this time there's some Green out there. Embry and B.J. Cohen stopped Green after a gain of about 3 yards.
Embry getting penetration that time. Jerome Embry. His line back in position. Another look here. Double option. Slight to fake to the fullback. You can see Jerome Embry forces the toss. B.J. Cohen makes a stop for Marshall.
A gain of 3 for the Citadel at the 47-yard line. It's 2nd down, 7 to go.
Bulldogs spread the field here.
Myers in the shotgun. He's going to roll. And this time he's going to run it. It's a design play. He gets it to the outside, picks up good yardage into Marshall territory.
Boy, does he get popped. Thomas Maxwell knocks Myers out of bounds, but not before he picks up good yardage. He'll be close to another first. I believe he's going to be about a yard short.
The thing about that play, it was a design sprint out, and they still couldn't catch Myers. He's a quick, elusive back.
You're exactly right. Here it is. That was run all the way from the gun. Myers, great speed and quickness. Dogs, 3rd and 1.
From the 47-yard line, trying to keep it going. Full backfield now. The give is to Jackson.
He's got the first.
Rather, Aaron Green in for Jackson. Takes it out down to the 45-yard line where the Bulldogs will continue to keep the ball.
That was the second back. That's that power set. Aaron Green. They loaded, kind of like a load, not a load option, but a power play. You hand it to the second back. Their power look and set. And the Bulldogs pick up another big first down.
Aaron Green and Deion Jackson pretty much alternate at that position. Green came into the game averaging 5 yards a carry, so he's as dangerous as Jackson is. 1st and 10 from the 45. 2-back set. This time it's the give to Antonio Smith, and he is smothered there by the Marshall defense. Larry McLeod.
Little misdirection. Larry McLeod stays at home. That's what a linebacker has to do. Reverse action. You see 28, Larry McLeod. Wasn't supposed to play today. Here's the look. A hand back. You fake to the fullback. You hand back. Antonio Smith picks up zip.
John Duncan helping out McLeod from his defensive end position. 2nd and 10. No gain on that play for the Bulldogs. 11:20 left to go in the half. This time it's the give to Green. He takes it out left side. Got some good blockers coming up quickly as Rogers Beckett to make the good tackle.
And I'll tell you what, if Rogers Beckett doesn't come from the secondary to make the stop, that's going to be a big gainer for the Bulldogs.
Now, this is the kind of situation Marshall would like to see Citdel in. It's 3rd and 8.
Another look. Just a hand back. You mentioned Rogers Beckett. Aaron Green. Beckett from the secondary makes a great play in the open field. Big 3rd down for the Bulldogs.
Beckett closes as well as anybody on that team. No question about it. 3rd and 8 now, but the Bulldogs have been successful on 3rd down conversions.
2 deep zone.
Sproul and Jackson back. This time Myers going to go across the middle. He's hit hard. Right there is number 80, George Hampton.
That's going to be a first down, I believe. Yes, sir. That's another first down. Big 3rd down pickup for the Bulldogs.
What a catch by Hampton across the middle, the big tight end.
George Hampton. And I tell you what, Myers had to thread the needle here. Fakes to his tailback, squats him. Tight end. He makes a heck of a catch. George Hampton.
Perfectly thrown ball from Myers in between McLeod and the defensive secondary. 1st and 10 now from the 34 as the Bulldogs.
Check it. Myers doesn't like it.
This time it's the second man through, Aaron Green, who's wrapped up after about 5 yards, but still good yardage on the carry. Number 84, Jared Keeley on the tackle for Marshall.
That time Stanley Myers checks him in the box. Counts people. That was a check, and an excellent check. Look at the right here. Right up the middle. Boy, you'd love to have 5 when it's snapped. Aaron Green pounds it up in there for the Bulldogs.
The Citadel, 2nd and 6. They are 3 and 4 on the year. They do not look like a team with a losing record here in Huntington. But right now, 9:45 to go now.
Myers checking again.
Ball on the 30. That's Green. He'll get the carry over the left side. And this time Keeley bulldogs him down for a loss of a yard or 2.
Aaron Green is not nearly as effective when he's going east and west as when he's going north and south. Or you got to pounce it up in there. You pound it up in there, you go north and south with it, you get a lot of momentum. That time Marshall able to string it out. Another look. Watch the ball pounce outside here. Aaron Green, see it strung out, you string it out, you get a lot of help from the secondary.
Keeley, Smythe, and Embry on the tackle. Brings up 3rd and 9 now, and Marshall has been unable to stop the Bulldogs on 3rd down possessions. We'll see what happens here. Sproul and Green in the backfield. This time Myers going to roll out right.
He's got some room.
He's going to take it himself, but he's got problems out there with Jerome Embry, and the herd holds on 3rd down.
16 meets 16. Jerome Embry wears number 16. Stanley Myers wears number 16. Looked like for a moment Myers had some room. Here's a look. This is just a quarterback sweep. He's looking a little bit of look downfield, but he was going to keep this the whole way. The two 16s get together.
The Bulldogs will come on for a field goal attempt now. Justin Skinner made his 32-yarder. This one considerably longer. It will be a 46-yard field goal attempt.
Again, he'll have to bring it in. Now the breeze is blowing left to right.
Selman, the holder, gets it down. The kick is up.
Got enough juice.
Is it enough? It is good. Justin Skinner, 46 yards. And we're going to step aside in Huntington after the Justin Skinner field goal brings the Bulldogs within one. We got a good one. We're back in a minute. Bulldogs are hunkering down against Marshall. A Justin Skinner 46-yard field goal. And that was 3 points that maybe Don Powers didn't think he'd get.
Another look. Again, a pretty good breeze this time from right to left. Right through there.
Plenty of distance for Justin Skinner as the Bulldogs take 13 plays to go 38 yards and come within one of the Herd. Skinner now will kick off. Back deep to receive for the Herd. Randy Moss and Tim Martin. And they're going to kick it again to Moss.
Yes, sir. Give him a chance.
But this time,
come out of there with this one.
This time Skinner makes sure there's no run back.
Boy, when you kick it down there out of the end zone, you know there's not going to be any run back.
Well, I think Coach Powers said, hey, Justin, can you do something about that number 88 there? And he made sure he was not a factor.
Best way I know to silence a kickoff return team. Kick out of the end zone.
So Marshall's offense back on the field with 8:03 left to go in the first half. Eric Kresser and company.
The other thing, Keith, that the Bulldogs are doing is you're able to stay out there. They're keeping that Marshall offense off the field.
One back behind Kresser. That's Doug Chapman, and he'll get it over the right side. Plenty of room as he jumps it out to the 27-yard line. His first carry of the afternoon.
Don Powers had two things in mind: time of possession and points. And thus far, the Bulldogs have been able to do just that.
The longer the offense is on the field for Marshall, the more that Coach Kevin Kelly, the defensive coordinator, can try to figure out that multiple wishbone.
Coach Kelly kind of scratching his head over there, boy, trying to come up with the right answers.
2nd and 4 now from the 26-yard line. Kresser calling out the signals. That's Chapman again.
Got some room, some more.
Breaks it outside.
First down, breaks a couple of tackles.
Finally knocked out of bounds there by Reggie Moore, the cornerback, but first down for Chapman.
Eric Thomas, #1 tailback. You give him the opportunity in the first quarter, then you bring on Chapman, the #2 tailback. There's very little drop-off.
They came into this game just 15 yards separating them.
#1. Got the gloves on that says #1. And they're in front by 1.
From the 33-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Herd. Chapman the lone setback. Martin and Moss out wide.
2 deep zone.
Kresser will give it to Chapman. This time he's wrapped up there quickly. Good tackle by Maurice Johnson.
Johnson awfully quick. From the defensive tackle position, you get that penetration. Best way I know to shut down that tailback attack. Maurice Johnson, awfully quick.
Johnson's 7th tackle for a loss this season. He gets into the opposition backfield in a hurry. A loss of 4 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 14 now from the 29-yard line. 3 receivers out wide. That's Mark Wicks in motion. Kresser going to drop and throw, and he's got heat. Screen pass to Chapman, who's got some blocking out front. Picks up good yardage, still on his feet, out to the 38-yard line.
Excellent call. I tell you what, if anything will slow down a rush, that screen will. Eric Chapman gets great blocking up front.
Lorenzo Jackson, the linebacker, was bearing down on Eric Kresser.
Able to pick up 8 or 9, be 3rd and 4.
Big third down for Marshall now with 6:12 to go in the first quarter. They lead it by 1. Eric Kresser, 1 back set. Tim Martin goes in motion. And they're going to give it to Chapman, who takes it out over the right side. Plenty of yardage. He busts it into the Citadel secondary all the way into Citadel territory.
Within maybe just a stride of going the distance here. Another look. This pick, it's a power, and you picked a hole. Great blocking. Tim Martin, an excellent block, the outside receiver. And I tell you what, Chapman almost takes it a long ways.
Kevin Smith had to make the game-saving tackle there.
And if Smith doesn't make the tackle, Marshall dials up long distance.
1st and 10 for Marshall now from the 44-yard line of the Bulldogs. Chapman will get it again. He has been busy. Busted out over the right side, still on his feet. 1st down yardage down to the 32-yard line. Doug Chapman, impressive.
The Bulldogs defensively, knowing that they've got to swarm. That big offensive line, I should say huge. Another look. Average about 285 across the front. Marshall's. This tackle. Bouncing off, folks. Finally, Michael Finley gets there to make the stop for the Bulldogs.
But not before another 1st down for Marshall as the big offensive line begins to take charge late here in the 1st half. Double tight end set for the Herd. Chapman, the lone setback, and he'll get it again over the right side. Big hole. Pounds it down to the 22-yard line, close to another 1st down.
Eric Crusher, count them in the box. When I say the box, I'm talking about the line of scrimmage. Eric Chapman, he's just hey, he needs a little rest right now. So who do they run in there? Number 3. Chapman comes off. Eric Thomas goes in. There's very little drop-off.
Not much to choose from for the Bulldogs there. 2nd and 1 yard to go. And Sonny, we saw this last week where Marshall's offensive line began to take charge.
You come out, you think maybe, hey, we're trying to do too much. We're going to line up, we're tight our straps, and we'll knock folks off the ball. And Marshall's got an offensive line that can knock most any team in 1AA football off the ball.
The Herd using a little Citadel strategy here with time of possession, running the ball down the field, and they are on a roll offensively. 2nd and 1 now.
Thomas.
Eric Thomas with 1st down yardage. Dragged out of bounds there.
But Shane's move again.
Anquan Gist on the tackle.
Right now, Marshall very content to just pound it. They lined up in the first formation they used today. Here's another look here where they got those heavies into the boundary. Eric Thomas out in front, picks up a bunch. Gist makes the stop for the Bulldogs.
We'll get the numbers for you, but I'm almost positive that Marshall has run the ball more this half than they have in any 1st half all season.
Here's this jumbo look again into the boundary.
Just 4
for Moss, man to man.
4 pass attempts this year. Randy Moss, yet again, 88.
Dedrick Reese, they line up for that jumbo look into the boundary. They get man-to-man to the wide side. Dedrick Reese cannot cover Randy Moss man-to-man.
Only Cresser's 5th pass of the day, Sonny.
And as long as they get man-to-man into the wide side, this is a mismatch here, folks. Dedrick Reese getting no help. You can't cover Moss man-to-man.
Tim Oppenlander on to try to give Marshall an 8-point advantage over the Bulldogs. It is up. It is good. Oppenlander now a perfect 43 for 43 in points after touchdowns this season. So the Herd takes an 8-point lead. The cheerleaders are happy about the turn of events in Huntington.
Homecoming crowd on their feet.
Okay, let's check in with Mark Martin, who's on the sidelines. Mark?
All right, Keith and Sonny, thanks a lot. We're joined by Tammy Wiggins, a Hall of Fame inductee of 1986 or 1996. And Tammy, you played here in the 80s, and I know it was a great career for you.
1983 to 87, yes it was. I truly had fun while I was playing. I enjoyed it.
Performed for Judy Southern. You say she surprised you last night and came back to the banquet.
Yeah, she called me last week and told me that she was coming in.
He's one touchdown away from Troy Brown's record.
Truly, her and the assistant coach Bart McConnell showed up last night, which was great.
All right, Tammy, congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, Tammy Wiggins with us. Back up to Keith and Sonny.
Thank you, Mark. And Sarah Evans-Moore may be able to use Tammy. Still looks like she could play some hoop, but the Thundering Herd thinking football right now. An 8-point lead over the Bulldogs after the 15th touchdown catch of the year for Randy Moss. Coach, that's one away from the school record by Troy Brown. 9-play drive, 80 yards, and again, Moss has been tough to stop.
Marshall is featuring what they call a jumbo look. They put 2 extra tight ends. They put them into the boundary, put Moss to the wide side of the field, and depending on what kind of a look they get, if they get man-to-man, they're going outside to Moss. If they don't, they're going to pound it back into the short side. They used it about 4 times here this afternoon. They have 2 scores from that one formation.
And there's a look at Randy Moss. Had a chance to talk to him the other day. Him and some of his Marshall teammates went over to the hospital to give out some trick-or-treat candy to the kids who couldn't make it. Nice gesture from the Herd players, and Moss is responding on Saturday. Deep kick now back to Kevin Smith. who's taken it out over the 20-yard line. Dragged down from behind there by number 13, Anthony Dixon on the tackle. While we have a moment, we'd like to thank Schlotzsky's Deli in Huntington for providing our crew meal on this afternoon. Schlotzsky's, home of the original baked fresh sandwich. And Schlotzsky's takes care of our guys all over the field.
Big time. I'm telling you what, those pizzas and those sandwiches, the guys freak out when that truck rolls in here.
As well they should. We're going to try to get Sonny over there before it's all over.
I'm going to put the hurting on somebody.
1st and 10 now from the 26. Stanley Myers and the Bulldog offense back on the field. They've done a tremendous job.
Got option.
This time Myers is going to keep it. Got some good room where he's knocked out of bounds. But he picks up good yardage across the 30-yard line.
Coach Pruitt awfully upset about something down there. I'm not sure what it is.
New quarterback into the game, and this is P.J. Stewart, the backup for Stanley Myers, and Stewart has played well himself this season, Sonny.
P.J. Stewart a little bit better of a thrower, but I don't think quite as quick as Myers.
There has been somewhat of a controversy, if you want to call it that, in Charleston.
What about controversy?
Both of them are good players. Look at the numbers on Stewart, 4 touchdown passes. So he is the better thrower, as you mentioned, of the two.
Dive to the fullback.
But don't know if anything's wrong with Myers, but certainly they were moving the ball well with him in there.
I guarantee you they were. Maybe they wanted to get both quarterbacks a little action here in the early going. P.J. Stewart, they like the job that he does when he comes in off the bench.
And I'll tell you what, that's not good news for the Southern Conference opponents down the road. Stewart's a freshman, Myers just a sophomore.
Myers over there next to the coaches, nothing wrong with him.
3rd and 1 now for the Bulldogs. Stewart sets him down, gives it to Sproul, and Sproul looks
first down. Looks like
he's got first down yardage out over the 37-yard line.
Bulldogs able to just make the clock continue to run, staying and hanging around like they wanted to do. There's a look over there. Nothing wrong with Myers.
Myers just fine, but again, they alternate Stewart and Myers. You never know when you're going to need the backup, so you bring them in. If they're both effective, you keep them playing.
As you say, boy, they've got a couple of dandies here. Go be there for 2 or 3 years to come.
From the 33-yard line now, the Bulldogs. First down. Aaron Green, the lone setback. Derek Green going in motion.
P.J. Stewart back to
Stewart's going to throw. Now he's flushed. Across the middle, he's got a receiver. He's out there, number 11 with the catch for the Bulldogs. That is
fumble.
Reuben Gresham, and he can't hang on.
They're going to blow it down. They say he's down. The folks in Huntington don't like this call. They say the ball was down.
Reuben Gresham with the catch, and we'll certainly have a replay to check out what happened here, Sonny.
Here's a look. On the run, P.J. Stewart underneath. Reuben Gresham. Oh, no.
He was not down.
He wasn't down, folks.
The crowd in this instance is correct.
Sir.
But
that was one that the officials might want to look at again, but they don't get that opportunity.
Well, and the fans can't make the decision either, so the Bulldogs will keep the football. First down from the 46-yard line. This is the fullback, Sproul, good yardage. B.J. Cohen wrestles him down, but a gain of about 9 yards.
Boy, they're trapping it up inside there. And boy, there's been a couple of gaping holes. Sproul hits it clean. And when he does, big yardage for the Bulldogs. The Dogs trying to answer. Another look here. That's a trap. Sproul hits it almost clean. B.J. Cohen makes a stop for Marshall. But Sproul picks up 8. 2nd and 2.
Second down now from the 37-yard line. That's Gresham in motion. The give is to the back Sproul, and he'll take it out for first down yardage before he's dragged down by Jermaine Swafford. But another first down for the Bulldogs.
Swafford on the defensive play.
B.J. Summers almost there.
Also in on the tackle.
And Marshall's defense not seen a running challenge like this all year.
Here's a dive, just straight dive. Jermaine Swafford, the first one to get there, B.J. Cohen. But the Dogs trying to answer Marshall's last touchdown.
Again, P.J. Stewart in the game at quarterback. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs now at the 35-yard line of Marshall. Late in the first half. Carlos Frank in motion. This time,
takes the dive.
Stewart's going to keep it on the left side. He's got room. And first down yard is now the pitch. It's thrown to Aaron Green, who takes it down to the 6-yard line.
That pitch was absolutely perfect. The last split second, P.J. Stewart executes the option absolutely perfect. Aaron Green, another look. Here it comes. He's supposed to be the throwing quarterback, but I tell you what, he runs it pretty well. See the fake there? There's the last second pitch. He's almost on the ground when he makes the pitch.
Even that late, Sonny, you can't forget about the pitch man.
No, sir, and Aaron Green takes it down to the 5. 1:16 here before halftime. The Bulldogs knocking at the door.
Got to be impressed with Don Powers and the game plan he brought here into Huntington.
Their offensive coordinator. Another look here. Look at the Budweiser scoreboard.
Yeah, Budweiser scored.
Hey, Miami having their hands full with Temple.
Ron Dickerson happy with the way things are going right now anyway. In Ireland.
Doesn't make any difference where they played it. Notre Dame Mass Navy.
Can't expect the Fighting Irish to lose over there, can we?
Dublin.
The Volunteers up over South Carolina in the second by a touchdown. Purdue and Wisconsin, the Badgers.
Shutting out the Boilermakers.
Minnesota and Ohio State scoreless in the second.
That's a surprise there.
In Columbus. But the Herd with a fight on its hands in Huntington, West Virginia, where the Bulldogs have it first to goal on the 4-yard line.
Another look at this option. Absolutely executed to perfection. P.J. Stewart, he's on the ground when he pitches the ball. Oh, it's back behind Aaron Green, but Green's able to pull it in. And the Bulldogs take it to the 5.
Tremendous sense of awareness for the
quarterback. No question about that. But boy, when that quarterback's almost on the ground and makes the pitch, that's when they do it to absolute perfection.
So with 1:16 to go before the half, the Bulldogs threatening once again from the 4-yard line of Marshall. Buck Manning playing defense, number 79. They're trying to stop up that hole somehow.
Take up 2 gaps.
Sproul in the backfield. This time it's Stewart. He's going to take it out himself. He's got some problems. And he's wrestled down out there by John Duncan. Good pursuit by the Thundering Herd defense.
Larry McLeod also there. That's what you want to do, string out the option.
How about Buck Manning,
Yes,
Coach?
sir, as I say, takes up 2 gaps. One thing about it, be tough to run up inside with Buck Manning in there.
The Bulldog fans are wondering what he's 6'6", 360 pounds.
Hey, you're being kind, about 390.
Oh, he's coming off now.
2 biscuits shy of 400. Shakes the earth when he comes off. Boy, you string out that option. That's exactly what you want to do defensively.
And the Bulldogs threatening here. 2nd and 5 now. The give is to the up back, and that is Sproul down to about the 2-yard line.
You want to pop it to the fullback. The Bulldogs almost pop it. The Dogs want a timeout. They want to talk about it. This will be a huge 3rd down play.
With just 28 seconds to go before halftime, the Herd certainly would like to keep the Citadel out of the end zone. Don Powers wants 6, no question.
If you're Marshall, certainly you just want the Dogs to have 3. If you're the Bulldogs, you want a touchdown. And I'm telling you right now, down there on the field, you see the head coach over here, Don Powers, with his offensive folks. Real good look at Coach Powers. What a job he has done talking to the quarterback, B.J. Stewart. P.J. talking to the offensive folks and the head man, Coach Bob Pruitt. He's the head coach, but I tell you what, with Coach Kelly up here in the box, Coach Pruitt had the defense, the entire defense over there, making sure he got straight, hoping to have all the answers for this option in this huge 3rd down play by the Bulldogs.
If there was ever a good time to catch Marshall, it might be this week. The Herd with the big win over Appalachian last week, and now they go to East Tennessee State next week, and so the Citadel in good position right now in total offense. Again, the Bulldogs with the big lead over the Herd. They have had the ball for most of this first half, even though the Herd has the lead, and now they are threatening to come within a couple of points. 3rd and 2 from the 2-yard line.
Coach Pruitt, you know, having been the defensive coordinator down at the University of Florida, you know he's got the answers defensively.
And you have to listen to the head coach.
Yes, sir.
He gets involved.
He will get your attention.
P.J. Stewart sets him down now, the full backfield. This is the second back. No, Stewart's got it himself. He's going to throw it. Knocked down out there. And good
What a great play.
Out there is number 96, John Duncan, who makes the tremendous deflection.
And if John Duncan doesn't knock the ball down, the tight end, he is standing all alone in the end zone. Here's the boot. Look at the tight end, how wide open he is.
George Hampton, the intended
Hampton,
receiver.
there was nobody within 10 yards of him. All he had to do was to get the ball over John Duncan. But, hey, when you're 6'3", 235, tough to get it over those hands.
And that's a play that may become a factor later on this game.
Might look back at that one.
Certainly. Justin Skinner on to attempt the field goal. It will be a 19-yard attempt, and it would be his third of the ball game. He's 2 for 2 so far. Selman sets it down. Skinner's got it up and good. So with just 20 seconds to go in Huntington, West Virginia, the Bulldogs claw to within 5 points of the Thundering Herd. And the late arriving Thundering Herd crowd seeing a tight ball game.
Awfully tight. We might look back now. John Duncan saved a sure touchdown. I'll tell you what, no question, George Hampton was so wide open. I mean, nobody within 10 yards of him. Duncan doesn't knock the ball down. I promise you, P.J. Stewart would have put the ball on the money. That's when you need one of those little dunk balls. You know, dunk it over the head of that big defender coming in your face, but a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, he could have put some air underneath it, but nice play by John Duncan, the senior.
Double look right here. P.J. Stewart throws the ball a little bit flat. Duncan able to get up there and knock it down. That time, as you mentioned, a little bit of air under the ball, kind of lofted in the end zone. Would have been a sure 6. Another look right here. Look how open. I mean, hey, they had 2 people open down in the end zone. It would have been ollie and free. Which one do you throw it to?
The other tight end, Mark Parson, out there as well. But Marshall turns back the Bulldogs. And what we're seeing here, Sonny, is a little bit of that diversified offense that the Citadel didn't used to run. They pretty much stuck to the wishbone, but this thing's a little more optional.
Offensively, I'll tell you what, right now, the Bulldogs got their herd a little bit on their heels.
Another long drive, 11 plays, took off 4 minutes of the clock, and the Skinner gets his 3rd field goal of the day, and the Herd with a 5-point lead. Skinner now will kick it back deep. Randy Moss is out there, but this one will go out of bounds. And they're trying to keep it away from him.
But I'm not real sure that that was what they wanted to do, kick it out of bounds. But, boy, because you get a real good, you know, you get excellent position here.
Well, you look at Marshall with 3 timeouts now in 20 seconds, and with the cannon that Eric Kresser has, you never count them out.
Not
Procedure, kicking team, kick out of bounds. They'll take the ball on the 35.
I guarantee you they'll take it on the 35. Thank you very much.
With Tim Openlander as the field goal kicker, Marshall certainly will, I would doubt that they'll try to sit on this thing.
Oh, no, they'll go in a hurry. I'm sure they'll spread the field. Looking at the Bulldogs right now, Citadel in that prevent defense.
Well, now it looks like they will sit.
2-deep zone. No, they're just going to just save the game. That's what this is.
The crowd doesn't like that.
No, they wanted this Las Vegas shot. I thought they might try to go downfield a couple of times with it, but Coach Pruitt very content to go in, leading 21-16.
Also, remember, Marshall deferred the opening kickoff, so they'll get it to start out the second half. Maybe that went into Coach Pruitt's thinking, but regardless, Marshall, a hard-fought first half with the Bulldogs, and they lead it 21-16 heading into halftime. So this one a little closer than maybe we would have thought.
Oh, hey, I knew these Bulldogs could play and put some points up.
Let's check in with Mark Martin, who's got Coach Pruitt.
All right, Keith and Sonny, we got Coach Powers, and your team takes the opening kickoff, marches down the field. You have to be pleased. You played keep away from Marshall here in this first half.
Well, our offense, I thought, played very well early, and I thought that was very important for us to do so. Again, we've just got to hang in there and play, and their athletes are playing very well, and we know that. So our defensive kids have got to play better, and our offensive kids have got to keep their consistency and hang in here in this thing.
All right, nice showing on the road here in the first half. Coach, good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
All right, Coach Powers with us. Let's head back upstairs now to Keith Morehouse and Sonny Randall.
Thank you, Mark. Out of the 30 minutes, Sonny, in this half, the Bulldogs have had it for 22, and that's why the game is so close. In Huntington, the Herd leads it by 5. We're back with halftime activities.
Awfully quick. I think this was Green that got it.
That's actually Antonio Smith, the Ranger.
Smith, yes, sir, the Ranger back.
He looks like a fullback, but Eric Kresser and Randy Moss hooked up twice in the first half.
No mistake as to who this is. Randy Moss, man-to-man, makes it look easy.
And an almost identical play the other way, wasn't it?
Yep, when you turn it around, you think you're looking at a different angle on the camera. Here it is right here. Dedrick Reese again, man-to-man. When you get man-to-man, awfully tough to shut down a youngster like Randy Moss.
And kicker Justin Skinner has been an offensive force for the Bulldogs. Hit 3 in the first half.
Skinner been absolutely letter perfect.
And that has set the score at halftime as the Bulldogs looking for the major upset against the Herd. Haven't won here since 1979. But let's check out the stats, and this will tell a story. Look at the rushing yardage, Sonny. Marshall losing by more than 100 passing yards. The Herd haven't thrown it very much. Total yards, the Bulldogs lead it. And look at time of possession.
That's the story right there, time of possession. Of course, with Marshall, it doesn't take them very long to score. But the Bulldogs have been able to hold on to the football and keep that Marshall offense off the field. That's exactly what Coach Powers wanted to do.
It is a picture-perfect game plan for Don Powers so far. Even though he's not leading the game, he knows that if the offense can continue to do this, he will be hanging around towards the end, and that's what the Bulldogs would like. Skinner now to kick it deep, and Randy Moss and
he's
Tim
going to
Martin
get a chance.
This time, Moss will take it at his 5-yard line. Over the right side, a little bit of a hole there, more room, but he takes it out close to the 30-yard line where Marshall will take over.
The only chance you got against a great punt returner, kickoff return, Randy Moss, Tim Martin, you've got to swarm. That's what the Bulldogs were able to do.
Moss averages 31 yards every kickoff return. Eric Kresser has been perfect, but look at the numbers. He's just thrown it 5 times, but 2 of them have been for touchdowns. Marshall, Sonny, has been content to run the ball for much of the first half.
Well, with just 4 on the line of scrimmage, they're going to continue to run it and pound the ball.
1st and 10 for the Herd on the 30-yard line. Eric Thomas, the setback. He gets the carry and big room over the top of this right side out to the 39-yard line, close to a first down.
As I say, we'll not do anything different with the football. You count them in the box. The Bulldogs just 4 on the line of scrimmage. And when there's only 4 up there, little reverse action, hand back, trap it. Eric Thomas hits it big for the Herd, picks up 9.
Anquan Gist on the tackle, 2nd and 1. Good numbers for Thomas on the afternoon. He will most assuredly get it here again, and he does over the right side. First down yardage. Out close to the 45-yard line where Marshall will pick up first down.
Again, when you've got those defensive backs making a stop, that time Reggie Moore, you don't want the folks there on the corner, your safety and free safety, making a stop. Marshall, I think, content to pound it here, the start of the second half.
It has worked to their advantage. And it's 1st and 10 on the 43-yard line.
2 deep zone.
This is Thomas again. Breaks it up close to the 50, out to the 47-yard line.
I always like to think of the first possession as setting the tone for the second half. We'll see what Marshall does offensively. Then we'll see what the Bulldogs do on offense.
Yeah, you get the feeling that no matter what Marshall does, it's how the defense responds.
That's exactly right, because the Citadel has been awful potent here in the first half offensively.
A gain of 5 for Eric Thomas from the 48-yard line. 2nd and 5 for Marshall. The 2 tight ends back in the game. Thomas again this time gets just a couple out to the 50-yard line before he's brought down by Maurice Johnson.
You know, folks, not real excited here now. People sitting on their hands trying to stay warm. Marshall coming out here in the second half, content to keep it on the ground, but now they're looking at 3rd and 3, and this could be an important first down.
The fans have gotten so used to lopsided games out here, and I think it's good for Marshall to be involved in a tight one. 3rd and 3 now.
Kresser on the blitz.
It's a screen pass out to Thomas, who's got a lot of blockers.
Huge room.
And he's got speed on the outside. Finally dragged down out of bounds there by number 23, Corey Harris. But big yard for Eric Thomas.
Thomas takes it a long ways. Corey Harris, as you mentioned, makes a stop. Here was a screen. Blitz. Here's the screen. That'll slow down the blitz. Caught the Citadel on the blitz. Eric Thomas gets the ball, bounces outside. Corey Harris has to make this stop for the Bulldogs, but Marshall is in business, knocking at the door.
19-yard gain for Eric Thomas. 1st and 10 now for the Bulldog 31-yard line. 1 back behind Kresser. It is Doug Chapman who takes it up the middle, picking, and he's going to go the distance.
Touchdown.
Doug Chapman, touchdown.
Yards. They pop it right up the middle. Chapman comes off the bench. Doug Chapman replacing Eric Thomas. Another look. Don't think that was a trap. That was just a base. They based it up front. Huge hole. Marshall short a man here. late substitute.
That's Jared Keeley coming in for the Herd. Doug Chapman with his 6th touchdown of the season, 31 yards out. Marshall in business again offensively. Openlander on to add the point after. It is up.
Good.